Welcome to my vlog.
Oh yeah, welcome to Shadow Palms Vlog. It's a party up in here. Party all day, party all night. Come on, join the fun. Subscribe. Show 'em what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Hello all and welcome. Thank you for joining in. It's been a while since I've done a vlog, as a lot of you know, so I thought I would start off with something fun, exciting, a tutorial. Oh, well, alright. Could have been worse on how to build something. And what I'm going to show you how to build today, well, maybe I should explain why I built this in the first place, because it seems a bit odd. I'm doing, as most of you know, I build vampire killing kits for a living. www.mysteriouspast.com. Yeah, like there was any question I was going to find a way to work that in. And I branched out into doing also pirate kits. Now, pirate kits are sort of there's like a pirate chest that a captain would bring on board his ship that has some things he needs. Ooh, wait, shameless self-promotion. Let me show you some pictures of the kit. The idea is it's just stuff that a captain would bring on board a ship. So you've got some old keys, you've got a blunderbuss, you've got shackles, you've got charts, all kinds of cool stuff. And one of those things is a cat of nine tails. And upon looking on the internet to see what kind of cat of nine tails I could get, they came in two categories: really, really expensive or really, really cheap and nasty. Not that there's anything wrong with cheap and nasty, mind you. I'm just saying. So I decided I was going to build my own because I wanted a really high quality leather that I could make for a reasonable price. And by high quality, I mean, well, you know what I mean. And by reasonably priced, I mean cheap. I mean dirt cheap. What I came up with costs about $8 to make, $7, $8. Depending on the size you want to do, and it's leather and wood and looks really good. Let me show you. Now this is my aged one. So this one is aged, and it's got an 8-inch handle with 10-inch leather straps there. And I think it came out really nice. Now this is the aged one because after I did it, I aged it. It's got, full leather handle, leather straps. Now here's one that I haven't aged yet. So you can see you can have it have a nice brand new look if you prefer that. Now why on earth would you prefer that? I mean, we're hunters, right? It is very sturdy, should hold up quite well. Yeah, it'll really hold up to a beating. Wow, I can't believe I just said that. But let me get to what you're going to need to build this. Now if you want to build one of these, if you're doing a dungeon or pirate or any theme like that, or if you're just a little kinky, a little freaky, got a little wild thing going on. No judgments. I'll show you how to build one of these. Now, first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a wooden dowel rod. Now, this particular one here is a 3/8. Now, it seems like it might be a little thin, but actually, when you watch how I do this, I'm going to put the leather strips across, then I'm going to wrap it in leather, so it winds up being a pretty good handle size. So if you go with a thicker dowel, it's going to wind up being a little bulkier. It's up to you. Now the length of your dowel is going to be the length of your handle. You may want a longer one, a shorter one. I needed one that would fit in the kit well, but still be believable. So you've got your dowel you're going to need. You're also going to need some leather laces or straps. Now I buy them in a roll. This I get at Michael's for, I think it's about $12.99 or $15.99 depending on the type you get. They have some that are suede that are cheaper, but I like the strength of the leather and the look of it a little better. So it's totally up to you what you decide to go with. Now I say these are $12.99 or $15.99 depending on the length that you need. You're going to need about 23, 24 feet. I would go with at least 25 feet just to make sure you don't want to run out in the middle of it. You might even want to go a little longer just to make sure. These usually come in 50-foot rolls, or sometimes in what is this? It is a 50-foot roll, which should be plenty. Sometimes they come out a little longer. This is good, really. I've actually forgotten how to speak during this vlog. So, but if you get them from Michael's or Joann's, they usually have a coupon. You want to get the coupon. It's going to save you a lot of money. So you're going to need that. You're also going to need some E6000, or you can use whatever glue you feel comfortable with. It's a real good, secure to hold the leather to the wood and the leather to the leather. Use whatever type you want. I use the E6000. I find it easy to use and I like it. You're also going to need, and this is pretty important, some Super 77 spray adhesive. Now the reason I use the spray adhesive, and I'll show you in a minute, is to first tack down the leather to the wood. Otherwise, when you're working with at least 9 strips of leather, which you're going to be doing, it's really hard to control unless you can really tack it down to the wood. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So you're going to need some of this. You can get this at any Home Depot or any home improvement store, hardware store. I use the 3M Super 77 because I find it's far superior to any other brand out there. But if you have a favorite, you can use that. It's just a spray adhesive so that it tacks on right away. Okay, and then if you're going to age it, whatever you use to age. Now, usually when I age, I lose my hair, I get wrinkles, I put on a little weight. Oh, wait, we're talking about the leather. When I age leather, I usually like to, like on my kits and all, I usually like to use shoe polish, but you can use whatever you want, whatever you use for aging. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our dowel down to size. You suck, man. You're worthless. You are a worthless dowel. You are the worst dowel. Oh, come on. You don't get it? Cutting it down to size? Yeah, right. It wasn't funny. Now, I cut it down to 8 inches because I want an 8-inch, 8-inch handle. Okay, it actually comes out a little longer once you're done, but I liked an 8-inch handle. I thought that was pretty good. Now, what you're going to do, once you cut it, you're going to take it to your sander. I usually like to slightly round off the one edge just to give it a nice finished look so you don't have any sharp edges sticking out. And then the other end, I take it to the sander and I just do a little bit. I don't know if you can see this. I'll hold it up here so you can see a little bit to a point. Now this one's a little more of a point than I usually do. Not quite that much of a point, but I just bring it in a little bit almost like a pencil. Now the reason for that is because if I left it square like this, when I wrap the leather and the ends are hanging out, if I held it up like this, you would see that circle in the middle, and that looks kind of lame. Whereas with these, you can hold it however you want, and you don't see the wood inside, which I think gives it a much more believable, much more higher quality look. So I just shave that down just a little bit on the sander. I just take it real quick. Like I said, this is a little more than you actually want. You don't want it quite that sharp on the end. You want it to come down to a blunt area, but just in a little bit. Okay, at this point I should probably take a minute to explain why the edges of the dowel are brown. In my infinite wisdom, I forgot to explain that. After I shave it down a little bit, I put a little bit of stain just on the edge and on the bottom. And the reason for that is, again, just in case a little bit of it does show through, you're not going to notice it. Mystery solved. Then what you do is you're going to take your leather, and depending on the length, now mine is 8-inch handle, 10-inch whip, so I actually measure out 18 inches, and then I cut it. 18 inches. I cut 9 of these, so you're going to need, if you're doing the same size as I have, you're going to need 9 8-inch strips of leather. So you just roll it out, measure it, or 18 inch. So you're going to roll it out, measure it, 18 inches, and then you're going to cut it. And you're going to need 9 18-inch strips of leather. Okay? Now, once you get that, you're going to take this, and you're going to take this, and here's where we get a little messy. You're going to take this, you're going to hold this. Now, I usually try to hold it on the very edge. You can hold it with something. You just want something that's not going to stick to the wood, so I usually wind up using my hands, which is really nasty because then you get this sticky stuff all over your hands, and it makes it difficult to work with. If you want to wear a rubber glove or something, and then you can peel the rubber glove off right after you're done, whatever you want to do. But what you're going to do is you're going to spray half of this. And the reason for half is because otherwise it's going to stick to your fingers while you're trying to work with it. So I do a half at a time. So I hold it like this, and I spray the half, okay? Half being this entire portion, but halfway around. I do the whole half, maybe a little bit more. Then I take the strips and I lay them across. Now what you do, this is what you wind up with here. Now you can see each one of these is a leather strip, okay? And when I spray it, I just lay the leather strip from the edge and I lay it in a straight line all the way up. Then I lay the next one right next to it. So if you get a close look here, you can see how they're just leather strips lying next to each other up along the handle. This end being the pointier end and this end being the flat end. Now you can see the Super 77 doesn't hold it permanently, but it will hold it pretty good for a short amount of time, which is all you need. You stick that down, hold them so you wrap all 9 around. So you've got all 9. So you've got something that looks like this. Okay? Now we're going to move on to the other goopy part, which is the E6000. So let me show you what we do there. Okay, once again, in my infinite wisdom, I left something out. Remember I told you to take the dowel and do half of it. That's this half. And lay it down. I forgot to tell you, after you do that half, then I take it, flip it over, I hold on to the leathered half. Now this half has the leather on it, and I do the other half. That way you go all the way around, otherwise you only got, half of a cat of 9 tails, and that's like a cat of 8.5 tails or something. That's no fun. Wait, that'd be a cat of 4.5 tails. I'm just batting 1,000 here. Okay, for this part, I usually take my spool of leather. I take the one end and I put the spool on the floor so I can easily pull out as much as I need. Now you're going to take this section that you just glued using the Super 77, and you're going to take the end and you're going to put this at the top, sort of down like this, just about half an inch, okay? But before you do that, you're going to take the E6000. Now I'm not going to do this live right now because it gets really messy and I won't be able to turn off my computer and all that. So what you do is you just put a little bit on there and then you go all the way around with it. Wrap it around. Might want to go a little thicker all the way around. Then you take this, you have it down like this, so it's going up. Then you bend this and wrap it around. Now wrap it all the way around so that it actually goes over the strip that you had down. So you're going to go like this. And then under the part that you wrapped around. Now can you see that? See how that is? And then you're going to add more glue and you're going to wrap some more around again and you're going to continue. Now when I do this, it's very important you make sure these don't twist, because otherwise it's going to look gnarly. It's not going to look like a real nice handle. And you're going to keep pulling it tight. Now every time you do a couple wraps, you're going to take your E6000, put a little more, I put it all the way around, bring it down so I can do a few wraps all the way around, and then I'm going to wrap again. Okay, is it just me, or do I suck at explaining this? I mean, I'm making it way more complicated than it really needs to be. I mean, this is officially the worst tutorial of all time. Keeping it tight and keeping it flat. I usually like the nice side of the leather out so it gives a nice looking handle. Now you go all the way down. Now when you get to the end, you keep adding the E77 as you move along. Now when you get to the end of where you had that little piece sticking down, that's fine. It's just going to get a little smaller. That's fine. Just keep wrapping. Put the glue. So you're going to have a little lump there. That's fine. The reason for that is because it just makes it a little stronger. There's no edge there to catch and pull the leather off. So you want to wrap down, wrapped around. Now, the thing about this, even though the Super 77 isn't going to hold the leather to the wood that securely, it doesn't matter because you're wrapping it with this leather and gluing it with the E77, which does soak down to help hold it to the wood as well. And you're wrapping it very tight. So what's happening is all of the pressure on it is going to be friction pulling, or is going to be pulling out this way, which is going to cause friction. So it's really going to hold really well. You're not going to worry about it falling off or anything. And you're just going to continue in this fashion, wrapping it. This wrapping section, if you're doing an 8-inch section, wrapping it's going to take at least 10 feet of this. So make sure you have at least 10 feet of this before you start wrapping, because you don't want to get halfway through and then run out. That's going to suck. I would make sure I have 15 feet just to make sure. Now, and you're just going to keep adding the E6000 around, and then wrap some more, and again and again and again. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but you're going to wrap, adding the E6000 all the way down, wrapping all the way down till you get to the end. Now, when I get to the end, what I do, and I'll just skip over here and show you the end, because you know we need to make a simple thing even more complicated. I continue wrapping. I don't do anything special at the end, except at the very, very end, I put a lot of glue because I want to make sure that it holds nicely. And the last wrap, the very last wrap, where I'm going to end it, I take my scissors and I cut it like this. So it's sort of coming to a point, the point being more this way. And I'm trying to think of how to explain that. Yeah, that would be helpful at this point, but I don't think you're that lucky. If I can show you here. Because what you want to do is you don't want to leave a lot of area for it to get caught. So let me show you with this one actually. Maybe you can see. Right there at the very end, you can see the leather strap. I cut at an angle there. So when it wraps around, it's nice and smooth. There's nothing easy to catch on. And I just glue that. When I glue it, I hold it, and I hold it really securely for quite a while till it's glued down tight. At the end, you've got this very nice, very secure. Give it 24 hours to dry just to make sure that it's nice and secure and dry. Make sure that you wrap everything real nice and tight so you don't have any gaps in here. Now, sometimes with the E77, if you got a little carried away, like I usually do, kind of like this vlog, you're going to get a little bit sticking out, and just don't wait 24 hours before you rub it. We give it like an hour to set, and then just use your friction on your finger to try to get that excess E77 off so it's not yucky. If you're aging it, it's not going to matter that much, but you just want to try to clean it up. Matter of fact, I can get some off right now from this, and I did this a couple days ago. You're just going to work with your hand and try to get off that excess so it doesn't look nasty. So you can see a little bit where I've got a little bit of cleaning still to do, but I'm going to age this so it doesn't matter all that much. So there you go. That's how to make a low-cost, really high-quality cat of nine tails. Now, if you want, you can make these a little longer, a little shorter. You can make the handle a little longer, a little shorter. And if you want to be more of a traditionalist, you can tie knots in the end if you're doing that, because that's what they originally would have, knots at the end. Now, if you want to do that, though, I would recommend using a lot more leather to make it a lot longer, because a knot takes up surprisingly a lot of the leather. So anyway, I came up with this method because, like I said, I saw a few tutorials out there of how to make cat of nine tails, and I didn't like any of them. None of them seemed very secure, like they were going to last very long or looked good. And the ones you buy, like I said, fell into two categories: really, really expensive, or really, really cheap and nasty. So there you go. If you need one of these for a torture chamber for your haunt, or if you're doing a pirate theme or something like that, and you need a cat of nine tails, there you go. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And please, 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 as always, subscribe. You know you want to. Go ahead, click that button, subscribe. All right, thanks, guys. And I will talk to you all later. And thanks again. Bye-bye.
Later, dude. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe.